What's going on? Goodfella Sports TV. We back doing what we do. One time for the one time grinding. All right. And apparently, Jimmy Butler is supposed to be a Houston Rocket by 5:45 Eastern Standard Time. Oh, 5:45. I don't know if it's Eastern Standard Time, but I'll link the article to the description. Some sources saying that Jimmy is on the move. I believe Jimmy is sitting out tonight, from what I hear. If they playing tonight, I'm not sure, but I think he's sitting out tonight. So, Jimmy Butler to the Rockets. I don't know for what, but apparently I got a video coming by him and Kawhi Leonard, man. I'll probably drop it right after this one, possibly. I don't like his whole attitude, man. He ain't the guy I want my foxhole, but apparently Houston really don't have no choice. Let's keep it a buck. They 2-6 or whatever they is, man, and they ain't been healthy. The suspensions, James Harden injury. It's like wherever Carmelo Anthony go, man. It ain't a good look, bro. Wherever Carmelo go, it's like he team obliterator, man. But putting Jimmy Butler in that, man, I don't know how it's gonna work, to be honest. Jimmy Butler's a good D guy, good guy that can match up with LeBron, but the Lakers ain't doing that good. When they get them that edge they need over Golden State, I doubt it, because I don't know if they're going to have the camaraderie. What made Golden State the perfect storm is they got camaraderie. The ball movement, the flow, they got good coaching, they get along. Jimmy Butler just seemed like the bad type of mix of, chemistry in the locker room, man. He just don't seem, he trying to be an alpha male, and it's probably going to be on some Dwight Howard, James Harden type ish. He trying to be an alpha male, but I know Jimmy want to win, and if the Houston win, he'll be all right, but he ain't going to be out there being all-star Jimmy Buckets, man. He going to have to fit in. It's Chris Paul show. Chris Paul going to have to take it back. He got to be a point guard. He is a point guard. He going to be more of a point guard and not look to score as much. But they needed that, man. If it's getting, Eric Gordon ain't doing absolutely nothing this season. Nothing. And I told you from the beginning, I would have gave up Eric Gordon and PJ Tucker. Forget all that locker room stuff. You want to win now, you go for it. You know what I'm saying? But like I said before, man, this is a trade that need to be made. I mean, Carmelo, he all right, but like I said, wherever he goes, it seems, not to get right, but they're a good team, but they had a chemistry. Everybody like to run up and down the court, on Houston, Chris Paul can run, James can run, Melo not so much, Clint Capella can run. It'd be a good team without Melo, in a particular lineup. I think he's a good depth guy. But Jimmy could defend, Chris Paul could defend, Capella can defend. They're a better defensive unit. But ain't nobody in the world gonna match up with Kevin Durant. Ain't nobody in the world gonna match up with a healthy Steph Curry and them goose, man. And when DeMarcus Cousins come back, man, they just too much. It'll be interesting, because what makes it more of an even matchup than it may be in June, Mayish, end of Mayish. What makes it an even matchup is the fact Golden State Warriors, they make so many deep final runs, and they got so many miles on their body and their legs that they tend to get injured. They tend to get worn down, and they tend to want to hit that light switch to turn it on and turn it off. All right? So Jimmy Butler is hungry. James Harden is hungry. Chris Paul is hungry. And another factor is bringing Melo and Jimmy Butler here. Melo and potentially Jimmy Butler to the Rockets, is that they both can hit big shots with Chris Paul. James Harden in big moments seem to just choke it away. We've seen it years and year after year. May have been when Houston was facing Golden State a few years ago. He was choking. He choked versus San Antonio Spurs a couple years ago when Kawhi Leonard didn't play. I mean, he's just continuously choking, So Jimmy Butler known to hit big shots, make big plays. Chris Paul, Carmelo Anthony, say what you want to say about him. He known to hit big shots and make big plays. So, Harden can kind of fade into the black a little bit and let them dudes handle the big-time shot making and shot-taking abilities. And then also you got to factor in the fact that Chris Paul is probably going to get injured. Chris Paul going to get injured. We already know that. At some point, a critical point in this season or in the playoffs, he'll get injured. All right, that's just an actual fact. So they may not be able to re-sign Jimmy Butler this summer, but that'll be showing we going for the gusto, we going for the ship. I think it's going to be more along the lines of Eric Gordon and probably some picks or something like that. Possibly P.J. Tucker. I know they don't want to trade P.J. Tucker. But if this report is true, like I said, I linked the article to the description. Like I said, they still ain't the favorite. They should be better, but then again, it's going to be another adjustment period. Implementing, acclimating Jimmy Butler in there. It's going to be an adjustment period. So you might see the Rockets, they might be 4 or 5 in the West, just compromising, trying to fit Jimmy Butler in, trying to get a good rotation in there, trying to get healthy, trying to get guys on the same accord. But like I say, man, it's worth the risk. You take that risk. All right? And you know you're probably not going to sign Jimmy Butler unless you're going to move Chris Paul. You know, I would have never signed Chris Paul back because you already know what you're getting. When my homeboys say, oh, Blake Griffin let Chris Paul down. No, they both let each other down. Blake Griffin was getting injured. Chris Paul was getting injured. Every year, every critical moment in the playoffs or some point in the season, Chris Paul get injured. You know, if they want to keep Jimmy Butler, you probably move Chris Paul. He getting older, you know. Move him to the Lakers. You probably can do that shit right now. You know, get Ingram and Lonzo or something, a 3-team deal. You probably can trade him right now. LeBron would love to have Chris Paul, and they probably overpay. You know, he builds you some depth, you know, build you some depth. But at the end of the day, we know Chris Paul gonna let him down at some point. It's gonna be a fractured pinky bone or something. But hey, you know, Jimmy Butler expected to get traded, you know, to the Houston Rockets. You know, I'm pretty sure if they don't move Capella, which I don't see them moving Capella, or they don't move Chris Paul next offseason, Jimmy Butler won't be back. Luxury tax too high. He want a super max deal. He want a max deal, though. You know, he been talking about Brooklyn. He been talking about the Knicks, the Clippers. Kawhi Leonard talking about the Clippers, going back to L.A., said he never was a Laker fan. So, you know, the Clippers is a hot destination for some reason now. You know, I know they in L.A., and teams don't want to play with the king of L.A. They don't want to play with LeBron. But, you know, it is what it is, man. You know, I hope Houston do it. You know, make the NBA a little bit more interesting. But it could set them back a little bit more. You could be looking at Houston, you know, making a run for the 4th, 3rd seed more than likely than taking the 1st seed like they had last year because of the adjustment period it is going to take to Jimmy Butler to get adjusted. You know what I'm saying? You know, he got to play more the dirty guy role. You know what I'm saying? The Sean Marion role in Phoenix and stuff of that nature. D3 and D guy, you know, D'ing up the Kevin Durant's, the LeBron Jameses. But like I said, I still don't think it's enough to put Houston over the hump. Like I say, man, it'd be interesting. I think the most interesting part after probably the Western Conference Finals with Golden State, they both make it that far, God willing, everybody healthy, is even if they win, the best part is, do they keep Jimmy Butler? Do they keep Clinton Capella and try to get a cheaper big man in? Or do they get rid of Chris Paul to keep, you know, Jimmy Butler? You know, it'd be interesting. You know, if they lose it and Chris Paul get injured again, I can see Chris Paul being moved to the Lakers or something like that. You know, him and LeBron going to the Twilight Zone together, or the Twilight part of their career. Yeah, but at the end of the day, Jimmy Butler a good player. You know, it wouldn't shock me if they beat Golden State, but if Cousins come back healthy. They talking about he playing the David West role too. You know, it'll be interesting. I think Golden State just got too much camaraderie. They got too much firepower. You got guys coming off the bench hitting shots now. I just don't see Houston doing it, man. I don't see Houston doing it because I already know James Harden not going to show up. It's going to be on the strength of Jimmy Butler, Carmelo Anthony, and Chris Paul to carry this team when the going gets tough. And if Chris Paul get injured, you know, it's going to be Melo and Butler carrying the team because James Harden go rogue, man. He ain't nowhere to be found. He go from being David Ruffin to Otis, straight to the back. You know, so they ain't never a good trade. Never a good trade. Every year he does that. So that's something to look at. I'll link the article in the description. Goodfellas Sports TV. You can follow us on Facebook, Twitter. Also, you can email me for business inquiries, video requests, video collabs. Really don't do them no more. You know, you want to make a donation, the link's in the description. Check us out on Twitter. You can DM me there and Facebook. You can join our Facebook group, man. I definitely appreciate everybody for making the donations, sharing the videos, retweeting them out, screen recording them, putting them in NBA groups, sharing them with your friends who are trying to grow the brand. I definitely appreciate everybody for holding us down one time for the one time. Y'all know what the business is. Goodfellas Sports TV, and y'all know that we gone.